So I'm going to start off with an introduction, and also John's going to join me and talk a bit about the service portfolio. Then we're going to talk about sharing data. I think a lot of you will have had contact with Sarah in relating to the data calls, so we're going to look at the status of that. And then we're going to have a look at how we document eLTER assets. So we're going to look at the digital asset registry and DIMES. And then the final session is the one I've been promising you over the last couple of days. It's about data labs. I showed you all this, this schematic in the earlier data management session, so I'll do that quite briefly, but in case people weren't there, the site and platforms here, they're the sort of engine room of the whole information management system. They're the ones that are providing the data. We've got data storage in the CDN, and we're also using B2 Share from UDAT at the moment. We've got cataloging services, so we've got DIMES that catalog sites, and the digital asset registry, which documents our digital assets. We've got visualization with the data integration portal and a control vocabulary. And we've also got the data labs, which allow us to work collaboratively to build analytical workflows and also pull in external data services. So perhaps a different way of looking at it, perhaps a bit more visually, is about how a user would interact with this. They will use the catalogue, so DIMES or the digital asset registry, to find the data and the assets that they're interested in. They will be able to visualize and pull together data within the data integration portal, and then download and access data from the CDN, from the data storage. And then they can pull all that into data labs, which will allow them to build analytical workflows to work with their colleagues collaboratively. So we're hopeful that all of these IT components will be created into data services that can be provided to EOS, the European Open Science Cloud, as part of the eLTER service portfolio. So John, I hope John's there. He's going to talk to us about the service portfolio.
Hi everybody. So first I'll introduce myself. I'm John Watkins. I'm responsible for the IT component developments within eLTER and also the development of the service portfolio for the emerging eLTER RI. So this concept of the service portfolio is something I'm developing with the team at the moment. I think that Michael Myrtle introduced this concept yesterday about service bundles, but I'll just run through this in a little more detail today. So what we're intending to do is to create a service portfolio that has a number of service providers providing a range of component services, and these can include things like site cataloging, as we've seen with things like DIMES, can provide things like data repositories for a range of different data products, and in situ data and data in different states of validation or integration, and services relating to data analysis, such as things like the data labs that we will see in a minute, but also things like provision of third-party data, such as observation and visualization services. But the way we want to present these to the users of the data is through what we call these service bundles. So the idea is that users typically don't want to see lots and lots of different components, IT components or training offers or whatever. What they want is a particular way of combining those components to deliver a particular workflow. So the workflows such as find data, access data, visualize data, maybe integrate data, that sort of workflow would be brought together in a service bundle. So this particular one you're seeing at the moment relates to fair data services, but it could be non-IT components such as training. It could be support for site access. So obviously one of the strengths of eLTER is to provide access across a range of sites, across an environmental gradient. So we could have a service bundle that supports transnational access or remote access. So the site, you should see the service bundles as just a way of bringing together a number of service components so that people can operate the workflow that they actually want to do. And it could include, as I mentioned, access from other external services. We've got the sister RIs, so we could think of things like Rennie or LifeWatch or ICOS as sister RIs that could provide services in the bundle, or EOSC services. There are some core services, and we've already mentioned things like UDAT, the cloud data repository that we're already using to store some of the interim data. Okay, next slide. So just to go through a bit of process. So what we're doing is we are putting together a range of service bundles that we envisage that the RI will want to provide. And those service bundles could come in several different forms. So you'll see here that I've put out these site information cluster service bundles, and they could be in a number of different flavors, as I've called them. So they could be bronze, silver, and gold, where bronze is sort of the most basic. You come in, you find the data, you download it. And then they get more complicated up to a gold standard, where you come in and you're actually in a lab where you can actually cut out different data sets and integrate different data sets. And the way we're specifying this is to go into these templates. So you'll see over here on the right, each service bundle will have a specification of how that bundle works, who it's aimed at, what the workflows are. And all of this is being documented on our wiki site and being developed through various consultations with stakeholders. It will be a big piece of work within the up and coming Mars meeting, the project meeting that is happening in the end of October. So there is plenty of opportunity to feed into this. There's plenty of opportunities to suggest bundles of services that could be relevant, not only to data users, but also to site managers. And we're very keen to make sure that there are services that are specific to supporting site managers in terms of certainly things like information clusters, but also things like how you get acknowledgement for data that's being provided. So things like data publication. So this is an ongoing process of proposing bundles and then deciding which ones are practical, which ones can be sort of produced first for the RI. And that's probably about it from me, Sue.